intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Dzień dobry. And this is Joanne Yanitsky, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the February 12th, 2026 issue of the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope you are well. I kind of like that we're having a little heat wave. I'll take it. Reminder, I haven't scrolled ahead. I don't know if we've got recipes or what, but there's always the phone number and website you might want to jot down or record. So, let's dive right into the front page. Catholic League Collection is February 14th through 15th in Buffalo. The Diocese of Buffalo will hold on the weekend of February 14th and 15th its annual collection for the Church in Eastern Europe and Poland. Half of these monies are directed to the Catholic League for Religious Assistance to Poland and Polonia, which includes in its mission the education and formation of Polish American students who are involved in parishes and schools and in keeping the Polish traditions and language alive. The St. John Paul the Great Scholarship was created for this purpose, incorporating faith formation and financial assistance to college students who are active in their local parish community. Recipients are required to engage in regular faith formation meetings and can be considered for awards for multiple years, with the goal of ensuring that our young people will have the best education and formation during their college years. Students in Western New York have received scholarships totaling approximately $50,000, and a commitment has been made to continue offering awards within Western New York's Polish community. Recent awardees were Savannah Borkowski, enrolled at Damon University in the pre-veterinarian program and a parishioner at Queen of Angels Church in Lackawanna. Carol Christian, attending Grand Canyon University and an active parishioner at Corpus Christi Church. Conrad Christian, who recently completed his studies at the University at Buffalo, and Natalie Pikula, attending Duvall University as a nursing major and a parishioner at St. Stanislaus Church. Committee members Reverend Walter Grabowski, Reverend Cole Webster, Edward Reska, Mary Lou Verobek, and Michael Zachovich were pleased with the academic achievements and dedication to their lives of faith displaced by the scholarship awardees. The local committee said it is grateful for the generosity of parishioners of the Diocese of Buffalo over the years and hopeful that parishioners continue to support this cause. The committee anticipates the availability of an additional scholarship for the coming academic year. Applicants should visit catholicleaguepolonia.org. All one word, catholicleaguepolonia.org, and go to the scholarship page to download the application and requirements. Note that applications from Western New York should provide the documentation requested, but the information should be sent to Mary Lou Verobek, 20 Brookfield Lane, number 4, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227 by May 1st. It should not be sent to Chicago. Approval is made locally, and requirements on formation meetings and presentations of awards are arranged locally and adapted to the schedule of the students. Donations towards the scholarship can be made through the collection envelope at a parish or directly to Catholic League for Religious Assistance to Poland and Polonia, care of Reverend Walter Grabowski, 10 Rosary Avenue, Lackawanna, New York, 14218, or to the main office at 6965 West Belmont, Chicago, Illinois 60634. Note in the memo line that the donation is for the St. John Paul the Great Scholarship. That's probably pretty important information. Let's go to Polish news bites. 200 million zloty military aid package for Ukraine set. Poland announced on February 5th, 2026, that it will provide a fresh aid package worth roughly 200 million zloty, about $56 million, to Ukraine, focusing mainly on armored equipment. Prime Minister Donald Tusk disclosed the plan during a visit to Kyiv, where he also signed a letter of intent on joint defense production cooperation with President Volodymyr Zelensky. The package follows a previous 100 million zloty aid tranche that supplied 155 millimeter artillery shells. While the exact composition of the new kit was not detailed, officials indicated that tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and other protected platforms would be included to bolster Ukraine's frontline capabilities amid the ongoing Russian invasion. Tusk framed the contribution as part of Poland's broader commitment to European security and solidarity with its eastern neighbor, stressing that, quote, our support remains steadfast as long as Ukraine defends its freedom, end quote. Although Tusk said during the visit to Kyiv that Poland could give Ukraine MiG-29 fighter jets at any time, Zelensky preferred a package mainly made up of armored equipment. Trump request ruffles Poland relations. U.S. Ambassador Tom Rose announced February 5th that the United States would cease all dealings, contacts, and communications with Poland's lower house speaker, Włodzimierz Czarzasty. Rose accused Czarzasty of, quote, outrageous and unprovoked insults, end quote, directed at President Donald Trump after the speaker publicly refused to support a proposal to nominate Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Czarzasty had accused Trump of, quote, destabilizing international organizations and of, quote, often violating international law, end quote. Rose posted the statement on the social media platform X, emphasizing that Trump has done so much for Poland and the Polish people, and warning that any further disrespect would jeopardize the strong U.S.-Polish relationship. In response, Czarzasty expressed regret over Rose's reaction, but stood firm on his position regarding the Nobel nomination. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk weighed in, urging mutual respect between allies, while analysts noted the episode highlights the delicate diplomatic balancing act Poland faces between its European partners and a U.S. administration that continues to champion America first. At the European Railway Awards in Brussels on February 2nd, 2026, Poland was honored with the Rail Champion Award for its leadership during its 2022 EU Council presidency. The accolade recognized the country's successful push to place rail transport at the center of European competitiveness, security, and sustainability agendas. Deputy Minister Piotr Malepszak accepted the trophy on behalf of the Polish government, highlighting record passenger numbers, 439 million rail travelers in 2025, and a renewed focus on rail infrastructure investment. Judges praised Poland's role in promoting cross-border connectivity, rail-related research, and the integration of rail into broader climate policy objectives. The award ceremony also announced a $10,000 euro donation to the Ukrainian Red Cross, reflecting Poland's continued solidarity with its eastern neighbor. Industry observers view the honor as a signal that Poland's rail renaissance is influencing EU transport policy and encouraging other member states to emulate its model. Punchki Day, a sweet tradition across Poland and the United States. Every year, the night before Lent's solemn start brings a burst of sugary delights to streets, bakeries, and family tables in Poland and among Polish-American communities in the United States. Known as Tłusty Czwartek, Fat Thursday, February 12th, or Punchki Day, February 17th, the celebration centers on the punchek, a deep-fried donut filled with jam, custard, or other sweet fillings and dusted with powdered sugar. While the core ritual remains the same, the way the day is observed reflects each country's cultural nuances, culinary creativity, and evolving traditions. The origins of Fat Thursday trace back to the Catholic practice of indulging in rich foods before the fasting period of Lent. In medieval Poland, the day marked the last opportunity to enjoy butter, eggs, sugar, and animal fats before the austere weeks ahead. Punchki, introduced to Polish bakers in the 17th century, quickly became the emblematic treat. Today, Polish cities transform into punchek-filled wonderlands. In Warsaw, Kraków, and Gdansk, bakeries line the streets before dawn, offering dozens of varieties, from classic raspberry jam centers to modern twists such as pistachio cream, chocolate ganache, or even savory cheese fillings. Long queues are common, and many Poles treat the day as a friendly competition. Who can eat the most punchki is a lighthearted challenge shared among coworkers and friends. Television programs often feature cooking segments dedicated to perfecting the punchek's airy texture, while social media buzzes with hashtags like hashtag Punchki Day and hashtag Tłusty Czwartek. Some municipalities even organize public tastings, allowing tourists to sample the iconic pastry alongside locals. Despite the rise of health-conscious trends, the day remains a beloved excuse to indulge, and sales figures consistently show a sharp spike in donut purchases each February. Across the Atlantic, Polish immigrants brought the tradition to neighborhoods with sizable Polish heritage, Chicago, Buffalo, Detroit, New York, and Milwaukee being notable hubs. In the United States, Punchki Day has merged with local customs, creating a uniquely American version of the celebration. The Chicago Tribune published a Punchki Guide 2026. American bakeries often experiment with flavors that reflect regional tastes: pumpkin spice for autumnal nostalgia, maple glazed for New England, or even craft beer-infused fillings in the Pacific Northwest. Moreover, the day has become a charitable occasion in several cities, with portions of proceeds donated to food banks or cultural preservation societies. Whether strolling through a historic market square in Kraków or waiting in line at a bakery in Polonia, the joy of sharing a simple, indulgent treat bridges generations and continents. This is your reader. I have to admit, I read about Punchki last week in the February 5th issue, and I've seen information in the Buffalo News and social media, and I have been craving Punchki like crazy. I'm a holdout for the traditional raspberry filling. That's what Busha Wojtan liked. It was almost black raspberry filling from Sparks Bakery. And I do not remember them being light and airy. I remember them being quite leaden, but most delicious. Okay, back to reading. Let's see here. Okay, we'll jump to Polonia's calendar here. Saturday, February 21st. Here we go again. Punchki and Polish pottery with instructor Michelle McLeod at St. Stanislaus Marian Hall, noon to 3 p.m. Includes paints, stencils, choice of bisque piece, and punchki. The cost is $50. Pre-registration is required. Phone number 716-854-5510. Again, 716-854-5510. And if that doesn't fit your schedule, on Saturday, March 7th, there's a Polish pottery workshop at Our Lady Help of Christians, Lower Hall, 4125 Union Road at Genesee Street from noon to 3 p.m. $50 includes one item plus paint, brushes, designs, patterns, and instructions from Michelle McLeod and Barbara Wawrowski, plus light refreshments. Call Kathy for information and registration. Phone number 716-893-7885. Again, 716-893-7885. Also on Thursday, March 12th, Polish Census Records, Then and Now by Tadeusz Pilat. It's at Erie 1 Bosie's, 355 Harlem Road in West Seneca, New York, from 7 to 9 p.m. The 355 Harlem Road is across the street from the SPCA. Can't miss it. And I'm also pretty sure, even though it doesn't say, that it is the Polish Genealogical Society of New York State meeting. So then on Sunday, March 15th, corned beef and cabbage dinner and pot of gold raffle. Dinner includes corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, carrots, rye bread, dessert, and beverage, $18 per person. Children under 12, $9. From 11:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon or until sold out. St. Stanislaus, corner of Fillmore and Peckham. Eat in or take out. Tickets available from ushers or at the rectory office. Saturday, March 21st, Research Day at the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library with Polish Genealogical Society of New York State, 1 to 5 p.m. The Grosvenor Room, Buffalo and Erie County Public Library, 1 Lafayette, downtown Buffalo. And finally, Thursday, March 19th, the Professional Businesswomen of Polonia meeting. Guest speaker is Kathy Goller of Teal Horizon Coaching. Details to be announced. Time for a break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Trip to Poland planned for June. Andy Gołębiowski, host of the Polish American program, is planning a tour of cities in western and northern Poland, June 4th to 18th. The tour will visit the cities of Gdansk, Poznań, Toruń, Szczecin, and other towns, as well as stop in a local winery along the way. A hands-on culinary workshop will also be included in the tour. For a full itinerary and pricing, please contact Gołębiowski at phone number 716-510-7562 or by email at andy@polishprogram.com. andy@polishprogram.com. The Polish American program can be heard anytime at polishprogram.com or live every Saturday at 11 a.m. at webrradio.com or on the radio at AM 1440. That's WEBR. We've got a pretty good list for this week in the history of Buffalo's Polonia. by Carl Buckeye. The following is a list of events that occurred during the week of February 12th to February 18th. February 12th, 1746, the birthday of Thaddeus Kosciuszko, a military engineer who volunteered to assist the United States in its fight for independence. February 12th, 1909, at Am-Pol Hall, Polish residents of Buffalo hold ceremonies marking the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln and the 163rd birthday of Thaddeus Kosciuszko. Dr. Francis E. Fronczak delivers the keynote address. February 12th, 1927, opening of a national conference of Polish leaders at the Polish Union Hall on Fillmore Avenue in Buffalo. February 13th, 1892, Ignacy Jan Paderewski makes his second concert appearance in Buffalo before an enthusiastic audience. February 13th, 1899, Helena Modjeska, the noted Shakespearean actress, begins a 3-day engagement in Buffalo. February 14th, 1915, the establishment of St. Andrew Parish to serve the Polish community in Sloan. February 16th, 1913, several thousand residents of the Black Rock section of Buffalo gather in and near Assumption Church to begin their commemoration of the Polish uprising of 1863. February 17th, 1891, Father John Pittas establishes the Sons of the Queen of Poland Society, an organization which became Branch 4 of the Polish Union of America. This society was the largest unit of the Polish Union. And to wrap it up, February 17th, 1914, the first Boy Scout troop in Buffalo's Polish community is established at St. Stanislaus Parish. Nearly 200 boys enroll at the initial meeting. Wow, that's one large Boy Scout troop. 200 boys. Whew. Okay. February was certainly a very historic month in Polonia back in the days. Ash Wednesday is just around the corner. So the Lenten Dining Guide is being listed in the Am-Pol Eagle. I'll try to go over a few of them as we scroll through this issue. Let's start with Athens, 2801 Harlem Road in Cheektowaga. Haddock and over 20 other Lenten options. Fish fry served daily. Well, that's good to know. You can have it breaded, beer battered or broiled, homemade dinners and soups. Again, Athens, 2801 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga. Fish fries every Friday from 4 to 8. The Lancaster Elks Lodge, number 1478, 33 Legion Parkway in Lancaster, New York, located in the heart of the village of Lancaster. If you get yourself a copy of the Am-Pol Eagle, you can take the ad and get $1 off of the fish fry with the ad. They're tracking to see how effective it is, how their advertising is, which is, I think that's a very smart way to track who's actually reading their ads. Okay, we'll have a few more of those, but right now let's jump to, my favorite, Tom Tadapachki, Polonia Press Box. Gronkowski Johnson on ballot for Polish Sports Hall of Fame. There is a picture of Rob Gronkowski, and that's the photo is United States Naval Academy Archive. I didn't know he went to the Naval Academy. Huh. And then there's, excuse me, a very nice picture of Liz Johnson holding her bowling ball, and that's courtesy of the PBA. I'm going with Professional Bowlers of America. Okay. Buffalo's Rob Gronkowski heads the list of new candidates on the 2026 ballot for the National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame. Gronk is a former NFL tight end who played for 11 seasons, 9 with New England and 2 for Tampa Bay. Regarded as one of the greatest tight ends of all time, he is a 4-time Super Bowl champion, a 5-time Pro Bowl selection, a 4-time first-team All-Pro selection, once was named Comeback Player of the Year, and was selected to the NFL's 2010's All-Decade Team and NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team. He had 621 catches for 9,286 yards and scored 93 touchdowns and was a devastating blocker. And don't Bills fans know it? Gronkowski is nominated in the high visibility sports category, along with the following: standout NFL lineman Brian Bulaga, who became the youngest player ever to start in a Super Bowl when his Packers defeated Pittsburgh 31-25 in Super Bowl 45. Joe Dudek, a record-breaking running back for Division III Plymouth State, who in 1986 finished 9th in the Heisman Trophy voting, the best result ever for a non-Division I player. Former Major League Baseball All-Star and 15-year big leaguer Scott Kazmir, college All-American and NBA All-Star basketball player David Myers, and longtime NHL National Hockey League defenseman David Legvand, who played 16 seasons, ending his career in 2016 with the Buffalo Sabres. Another Western New Yorker is a first-time candidate in the Hall's All Other Sports category. Cheektowaga native Liz Johnson, her original family name is Yanishevsky, is eligible for election. She has won numerous titles and currently competes on the Professional Women's Bowling Association, PWBA Tour. Other local native, Olympic archer Jake Kaminsky, remains on the ballot. The Elma native won silver at the 2010 and 2016 Olympics. Also added to the ballot for the first time, Amherst College women's basketball coach G.P. Gromachki, who last year became the fastest women's basketball coach in history to reach 600 wins. And Olivia Smoliga, the daughter of Polish immigrants and 2-time Olympic swimmer. She also won a record 8 gold medals at the 2018 World Championships. Other holdovers on the ballot are hockey player Amanda Kessel, who competed for the U.S. at 3 Olympic Games and 7 World Championships, winning 5 gold medals and 5 silver medals, and legendary bodybuilder Frank Zane, a 2-time Mr. Olympia. The top vote-getters in each category will be inducted. The awards will be presented on Thursday, June 18, 2026, at the American Polish Cultural Center in Troy, Michigan. The National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame was founded in 1973 to honor and recognize outstanding American athletes, both amateur and professional, of Polish descent. Tickets can be ordered by calling phone number 313-407-3300. I'll do it again. 313-407-3300. Information about the National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame is available at www.polishsportshof.com. That's a nice little road trip to Troy, Michigan. And it could be fun if you could bump into Gronk, if he doesn't knock you over when you bump into him. Okay, still a chance. Poland finished second in UEFA Group G behind the Netherlands, but they're in the playoffs to earn a berth in soccer's 2026 World Cup. In March, Poland will face Albania at home. The winner of that match will then play the winner of Ukraine versus Sweden in another match to secure a World Cup berth. Potentially, Poland could end up in Group F with the Netherlands, Japan, and Tunisia. The 2026 World Cup will be held from June 11th to July 19th, 2026 in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It will feature a total of 48 teams, 16 more than in Qatar 2022. The squad experienced some controversy this past summer when star striker Robert Lewandowski was unceremoniously stripped of his captaincy. Leva announced his retirement from international play until manager Michał Probierz was no longer in charge. Following Poland's 2-1 loss to Finland in a qualifier, Probierz resigned from the national team. He was later replaced by Jan Urban. The Atlanta Braves signed versatile outfielder Mike Yastrzemski to a 2-year, $23 million contract. 11-year Major League Baseball vet Travis Jankowski, who helped the Texas Rangers win its first World Series title in franchise history in 2024, has now joined the team as first base coach. Columbus defenseman Zach Werenski was named to the U.S. Olympic hockey team. Well, lots of information there from Tom Tadapachki. I still think a trip to Troy, Michigan could be a fun road trip. Let's take our next break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio reading service. Okay, let's do some more Lenten dinners. We've got St. Amelia School, 2999 Eggert Road in Tonawanda, New York. Every Friday during Lent from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. They have baked beer-battered haddock, potato salad coleslaw, and a daily third special salad. You get rye bread, butter, tartar sauce, lemon, and dessert. They also have an 8-ounce salmon dinner with all of the above items or brown rice. And if you're not a fish lover, they have cheese pizza or grilled cheese with soup and dessert. Sounds like a good deal to me. So again, St. Amelia's School, you can eat in or take out, 2999 Eggert Road in Tonawanda, New York. Wayside Family Restaurant, 2301 South Park Avenue in South Buffalo. Fresh haddock available all week long, takeouts available. Visit our newly renovated dining area. I may have to check that one out. Polish Nook, breaded fish fry, baked fish, pierogi. That's 2242 Cutterback Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. You can dine in or take out. Keebsacks, 38 Crocker Street in Sloan, New York. Friday fish fry served from 11 in the morning to 9:30 in the evening. Fresh yellow pike or orange roughy, broiled or battered. You get potato salad, coleslaw, noodle salad, French fries, bread and butter. They also have shrimp, scallops, or a seafood platter. And they also have homemade charnina and jumbo shrimp cocktail. Ooh, I haven't had charnina in a long time. I may have to check out Keebsacks. Okay, let's see what else we can find here. There are some photographs here. Wind takes its toll. Residents in the Black Rock neighborhood in Buffalo noticed the steeple at Assumption Church on Amherst Street had lost some of its copper cladding. Mary Roche, business manager for the Catholic community of North Buffalo, said, quote, Assumption leadership, the Diocese of Buffalo, and the insurance company are aware of the steeple situation. A claim was filed with the insurance company and has been approved. A contract was signed to have the repairs completed. Unfortunately, wind, and more recently the weather, has made it unsafe for the repairs to be made. As soon as it is safe, the contractor will make the necessary repairs. End quote. Wow, quite a bit peeled off that steeple. Instead, there's certainly lots of that beautiful green copper patina, and then there's black spots. It must be the underlayment, whatever it is. And there's also some bent pieces of copper that are still hanging on. And it apparently is two sides, because there's another photograph with another section of black showing, but it looks smaller, tough to judge, because one of the steeple photos is a close-up and one is from the distance. So, tough to know. But, well, that's good to know. That's such a classic church. And I was a flower girl at Assumption Church when I was 5 years old. Uncle Joe Voiton and Aunt Arlene, oh goodness, I know her last name starts on K. I can't believe. Give me 20 minutes. I'll come back with Aunt Arlene's name. Okay, Punchki Day at Orchard Lake. The entire state shows up. There is a cute photograph of Punchki Man from an Orchard Lake YouTube video. This past Thursday, February 12th, the Polish Institute of Culture and Research at Orchard Lake, Michigan, celebrated Punchki Day on campus ahead of the traditional observance in Poland. While the celebration takes place early due to the students' upcoming break, it offers a meaningful opportunity to learn about and honor Fat Thursday, Tłusty Czwartek, the day Punchki are traditionally enjoyed throughout Poland. In Poland, Fat Thursday marks the final Thursday before Lent and has been observed for centuries. Rooted in both cultural and religious tradition is a day of joyful indulgence before the season of fasting, prayer, and reflection begins. Punchki, rich and symbolic, are more than a treat. They are a tangible link to faith, family, and shared memory. Michigan holds a uniquely important place in sustaining this tradition. Polish roots can be found across the state. Hamtramck to Grand Rapids, Saginaw, and even the Upper Peninsula, each community carrying forward customs brought by earlier generations. On Punchki Day, the entire state shows up to celebrate. It is a moment when heritage is shared broadly, and a day when we are reminded that this is a tradition open to all. It is quite simply a day when we can all be Polish. At Orchard Lake, Punchki Day is more than a celebration. It is an educational experience grounded in the Institute's mission. Students, faculty, staff, and administrators come together to learn about the meaning of Fat Thursday from both a cultural and religious perspective, gaining insight into how this tradition is observed in Poland, while experiencing how it has been preserved and adapted within the Polish-American community. Quote, celebrating Punchki Day on campus is about more than enjoying a beloved tradition, said Ania Biechuk, Associate Director for Polonia Affairs at the Polish Institute of Culture and Research at Orchard Lake. She continues, It is an opportunity to pause, learn, and understand why this day matters in Poland and while it continues to matter here in Michigan. By celebrating early, while our students are still together, we are able to share history, language, and faith in a way that is meaningful and memorable. It is a reminder that culture is something we actively live and pass on. End quote. The Polish Institute expressed its thanks to the community whose support sustains this annual observance, and especially to Środek's Market and Irena's Pastry and Bistro for providing authentic traditional punchki. Both are staples of Michigan's Polish community and long-standing supporters of the Polish Institute and its mission. Dedicated to preserving, studying, and sharing Polish history, culture, and the Polish-American experience, the Polish Institute of Culture and Research at Orchard Lake serves as a vital cultural and educational resource. Through its archives, exhibitions, lectures, workshops, and campus traditions such as Punchki Day, the Institute ensures that Polish heritage remains a living, shared legacy. I wish you could see the picture of this cute little punchki man. Got little mitten hands coming out of the, I'm guessing it's brown flannel punchki. Got a smiley face and a chef's hat on. Personally, I think it should have a little raspberry filling dripping out from where the arms come out, but that's just me. Okay. Let's see. I'm scrolling along here. Music events set at St. Louis Church. The Music at St. Louis series continues Sunday, February 22nd with Jay Dreff, tenor, performing works by Schubert, Tosti, Donizetti, Morricone, and others. The concert will begin at 5 p.m. at St. Louis Church, Main and Edward Streets, Buffalo. The series continues with Sotto Voce Vocal Collective, an operatic showcase, on Sunday, March 8th at 5 p.m. A free will offering will be taken at both events. Now, this sounds good. Premium sponge candy punchki. This is an ad for PUNT, P-U-N-T. It's the Pediatric Cancer Collaborative. I know it's connected to Roswell Park, and who was the punter? Anyway, they're working with Tops. It's a limited time only. You can get a 4-pack of decadent chocolate glazed punchki. Get this, filled with sponge candy buttercream. Whoa! And in the ad, there's a little picture of a little topping, a small chunk of sponge candy on top of the punchki to add to the flavor of the sponge candy buttercream. Man, does that sound good! The deal is $6.99 with some of that money going to the PUNT Pediatric Cancer Collaborative. And you can also go to their website, topsmarkets.com/punt. Okay. Oh, what a great flavor. I still want my raspberry. Okay. Scrolling right along. Let's do some science here. As long as we were talking pediatric cancer, there is an image by D.I. Wang from Pixabay, and it's a photograph of a cell. Doesn't say it's a cancer cell, but it's some kind of a cell. And I'm sure they used a very high-powered microscope to get that photograph. Okay, this article is by Ludwika Tamala. Cancer cells can reprogram their metabolism to survive in different organs, a process that influences their ability to metastasize, according to a study published in Nature by an international team including Sonia Trojan, PhD, from Jagiellonian University. Metastasis occurs when cancer cells detach from a primary tumor and spread through the bloodstream to other organs. Cells that encounter favorable metabolic conditions, such as adequate oxygen, glucose, or amino acids, can survive and form secondary tumors. The brain, lungs, and bones each provide distinct metabolic microenvironments affecting how cancer cells adapt. Quote, in our research, we analyzed how the metabolic environment of a given organ affects the ability of cancer cells to metastasize. It turns out that cancer cells can very efficiently adapt their metabolism to compensate for deficiencies in their new environment, Trojan said. The team measured metabolite levels in specific tissues of mice and genetically modified aggressive breast cancer cells so they could not synthesize certain nutrients, forcing them to rely on the environment. Using advanced metabolic tracking techniques developed during Trojan's postdoctoral work with Professor Matthew Vanderheiden, the researchers traced labeled glucose molecules to determine how cells use nutrients in different organs. The study found that cancer cells display high metabolic flexibility, often producing missing compounds themselves if they are unavailable in the tissue. An exception was nucleotide synthesis. Cells unable to produce nucleotides showed limited tumor growth and metastasis regardless of the microenvironment, pointing to potential therapeutic strategies targeting this pathway. When asked about predicting metastatic patterns, Trojan said that the process remains difficult. Quote, currently, we rely primarily on statistical observations. We know that certain types of cancer are more likely to metastasize to specific organs. Understanding this process at the molecular level could significantly improve diagnosis and treatment, she said. Trojan emphasized that the study is basic research aimed at understanding cancer mechanisms rather than developing a therapy. Quote, each such discovery represents another step towards more effective and precise treatment, she concluded. Basic science is where all research starts. That's laboratory research, and it's critically important. It may or may not develop into a cancer therapy or a heart condition therapy or a multiple sclerosis therapy. You don't know. But when the scientists work together and study together and read these different scientific studies that are published, often one study idea can sort of turn the light bulb on in somebody else's mind, and they take it and tweak it and take it to the next level. And it works and works and works and works until hopefully someday it becomes a new therapeutic discovery. And that is what I learned working at Roswell Park for many, many years. Okay, last break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Polkas on Tap, Sunday, February 22nd, Polka Buzz. It's at Polish Nook, 2242 Cutterback Avenue in Niagara Falls, New York, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. $10 will get you in the door. New Direction will be playing for your dancing pleasure. Sunday, March 15th, there is a St. Patrick's, St. Joseph's Day polka dance at Potts Banquet Hall, 41 South Rossler Avenue in Cheektowaga, New York. 3 in the afternoon till 7 in the evening. $10 will get you in the door. And again, New Direction will be playing. And Wednesday, March 18th, Polka Boosters Meeting, Polish Falcons, 445 Columbia Avenue in Depew. Doors open at 7 p.m. with music beginning at 7:30, featuring the Kaisertown Polka Band. Okay, so the polkas are going to taper off for Lent, of course. Frivolity in dancing is not encouraged, but certainly it takes place. Okay, let's see here. Polish contributions to international criminal law, a webinar discussion. I guess if you're interested in the law, if you're a lawyer, if you're in law school, if you're thinking about law school, you might want to take advantage of this webinar. Let's see what it's about. Webinar to examine Poland's criminal law. The Kosciuszko Foundation, in collaboration with the Jagiellonian Law Society, will present a scholarly webinar that highlights Poland's enduring influence on the evolution of international criminal law on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 at 1:30 in the afternoon. The event is free, but registration is required and spots are limited. The webinar will share insights into how Polish thinkers, jurists, and institutions have influenced key developments in international criminal law, from early medieval ideas of ius gentium to Poland's role in groundbreaking legal norms such as the Genocide Convention. The featured presenters will be Patricia Grzebik. I don't know. There is her law designation, and it's other than the DR for doctor, it's abbreviated, and so I'm not sure how to say it. But she's an associate professor, expert in international humanitarian and criminal law. Bartłomiej Kurzan, university professor and legal scholar in international and European law. Karolina Wiercińska, director of the Center for Research on International Criminal Law. And the event is moderated by Elizabeth M. Zekenter, JD, PhD, that one I get, international attorney and academic. Organizers say, quote, "This dynamic conversation will challenge conventional narratives that attribute the development of international criminal law solely to major powers and will spotlight Poland's contributions in diplomacy, legislation, jurisprudence, and legal thought." Okay. Now, you can visit the kf.org. KF for Kosciuszko Foundation. So, no space. The kf.org. Probably to register and get more information about the event. Scrolling right along here. I see a recipe. Let's see if we can't squeak it in. The photo is in black and white. It's a bowl of soup. Well, it's a bowl of borscht. And there's a plate of buttered toast and boiled potatoes. Lithuanian cold borscht in a bowl. Lithuanian cold borscht. There's no way I can pronounce the Lithuanian. I'm sorry. The Polish is Chłodnik Litewski. There is Latvian Auksta zupa. We know zupa from Poland. So is a refreshing dish, variations of which are popular in Lithuania and neighboring regions. This recipe is most popular in the Kaliningrad region of Russia. In any other regions, Lithuania, Poland, Latvia, Ukraine, Belarus, the ingredients may differ. So it suggests it's going to take you 2 hours to prep, and it's going to take you 2 or 3 minutes to cook. Let's see what we've got. So you want 2 or 3 fresh or pickled beets. You want 1 or 2 potatoes per serving, depending on the size of your potato. 1 to 2 normal-sized cucumbers per serving. You need dill, parsley, and chives. 1 egg per serving. You need kefir. That's a fermented drink. If not available, you can use sour yogurt or buttermilk. Excuse me. You want about 150 to 300 milliliters per serving. You want the topping to be sour cream, a tablespoon per serving. You could have some radish, which is optional. I wonder if you could use horseradish. You can have lemon slices. That's optional. So you're going to wash your beets and cook in boiling water. Don't drain the water. Peel the beets, grate on a medium or coarse grater. Squeeze a little lemon juice into the liquid in which the beets have cooked. Mix, then add salt, sugar, and pepper to taste. Cool in the fridge. Instead of boiled beets, you can grate pickled beets. That would be faster and easier. Thinly slice the fresh cucumber and mix with chopped dill and parsley. You can also add chopped radishes if you like. Bake or boil the potatoes without peeling. Boil an egg for each portion of soup. Place a few large spoonfuls of cooled grated beetroot and vegetable mixture in a bowl. Pour in the cold kefir or buttermilk or sour yogurt. Add the cooled beetroot decoction, that's the liquid. If the kefir is too thick, add a little more liquid. The ratio of kefir to beetroot liquid varies from region to region and is adjusted to taste. Serve with potatoes and with a halved egg and spoonful of thick sour cream on top. Sprinkle with chives. If you like, you can make it without the egg, as in the photo. Let's wrap it up. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the February 12th issue of the Am-Pol Eagle. We read from the Am-Pol Eagle every Saturday at 3 p.m. Your reader has been Joanne Yanitsky. Thank you for listening. Do widzenia.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. At 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. And at 6 o'clock, we've got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty. Stay tuned for these readings and more. If you're listening to this publication online, you're probably using our website, a podcast player like Spotify or iTunes, a streaming service like Siro, or a smart speaker. Did you know that we now have a dedicated app that can be downloaded to any mobile device, like a smartphone or tablet, for free? App users can conveniently access our live stream and any episode of our podcast easier than ever. To download the app, just type NFRRS in the search window in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store. Contact us anytime if you have any questions by calling 716-821-5555, extension 5. Thank you. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another